Behold, the most valuable gaming console I own.
Hello everyone, it's Trent. It's fun to have fun, but you have to know how. That is, unless of course you're a Z-list YouTuber who's forced to produce this show from your mother's house because you wasted your life reviewing crappy video games, then by all means, do something that's not fun.
Would it kill you to take out the trash?
Mother!
The Cat in the Hat is a beloved story written by beloved author Theodore Geisel, better known to the world over as Dr. Seuss, a storyteller with a wide array of colorful worlds, designs, and unique vocabulary that helped shape an entire universe of Seussian characters that many families of many generations still look back on and read fondly. Granted, many of these younger fans might be more familiar with these characters thanks to these bastardized versions of beloved tales, but it goes to show how legendary these books are if they're still being adapted into various forms of media to this very day.
However, one of the more controversial Seuss adaptations has to be the two books that got the live-action adaptation treatment. And while How the Grinch Stole Christmas is still regarded by many, including myself, to be a holiday classic, I'll agree that I think things started to fall off the wheel when we got to The Cat in the Hat, because Universal Pictures decided to bring in Mike Myers, not that one, yeah, there you go, to bring the beloved character to life. And considering how bad this movie was, well, I think it goes without saying, maybe Dr. Seuss's widow kind of knew what she was doing when she said that as long as she was alive, there would be no more live-action adaptations of her husband's material. And considering she's been dead for about 4 years now, yeah, I think they're about to start popping up again.
I'm going to admit firsthand that, as a young, naive, and downright unintelligent child, I originally thought this movie was a fun time. As an adult, and having rewatched the film to prepare for this review, it feels more like a parody of a Seuss story than an actual Seuss story. I still do not outright hate it, but with all the pop culture references, sexual indos, and wooden performances, it's no surprise that this film bombed. Myers was on top of the world in the 2000s, and it's apparent that the filmmakers were hoping to capture the magic of his other smash hits, like Shrek and Austin Powers, by making the film as vulgar and grody as those two, but forgot to give the main character, known for being a mischievous feline who teaches kids that having fun comes with its limits, an actual heart and soul. And instead he just winks to the camera, makes awful one-liners, and has the most grating laugh you'll ever hear.
Now, because this was an early 2000s release and appealed to children and had some sort of pop cultural significance, it was legally required to have a video game adaptation, as most things were at that time. So here we have The Cat in the Hat, the video game based on the movie, based on an animated special, based on a book, based on the writings of a German-American guy who wasn't even a real doctor. May God help us all.
And thus this adventure begins like how you'd expect a low-budget cash grab to start with, an opening narration, by either Mike Myers or a sound-alike. I honestly can't tell. But hey, whoever it is, though, managed to capture the essence of the cat and how he was in the movie, because he's just as annoying here, and he never shuts up!
Hey, what's this him being immensely powerful? That wasn't in my script!
Oh, great, so this is yet another movie tie-in game that has zero connection to the actual film it's based on. Not only did the movie barely follow the book, but now this game barely follows the movie that barely follows the book. In a huge departure from the film, we find out that after Conrad unlocked the box, the crab block somehow got broken into 3 separate pieces, which are now being held hostage by Quinn, the evil next-door neighbor played by Alec Baldwin, who is no longer trying to send Conrad to military school and bang the kid's mom, but he wants to keep the lock for himself and use it to harness the power of the cat's world and become an immensely powerful being, and you don't really care, do you? Alec Baldwin is a stereotypical supervillain trying to take over the world, yada yada yada, we have to stop him. Honestly, this game would have been better if the whole plot was us trying to stop Baldwin from promoting his new movie. Prop gun. BT Dub, hands up if you forgot Alec Baldwin was in this movie. Yeah, that's what I thought, you fake fans. Anyhow, we get started on this grand adventure, and immediately...
Bad touch. I need an adult!
I don't don't know what I was expecting, but why would you change the story of the game and also include creatures and characters based off of other Dr. Seuss works, only to keep the same visual design for the cat? Like, the cat suit didn't look great to begin with. It straight up looked like Mike Myers putting his face in a cardboard cutout. But you had to fully translate that into pixels? I don't think I understand where you're going for here. That, coupled with the loud, bombastic music you get right as you press start, and it makes me want to hit the power button and rid my house of any evil spirits this game may have unleashed.
But I digress. Let's press forward into adventure. Or rather, into mediocrity.
Upon starting the first level, we already run into an issue. I mentioned earlier that the cat doesn't shut up. The developers must have thought the guy voicing the cat, who I'm starting to think isn't the real Mike Myers, because even he knows when to cut it off and stop being funny sometimes, so I'll just call him Be Like Mike, was hilarious, because he spouts off the most vile and inane jokes constantly. And contrary to popular belief, there aren't that many to begin with. So you'll constantly hear the same jokes being repeated over and 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 over again.
Goodbye, cruel world.
Ah, yes, that's exactly what this family-friendly video game based on a beloved book adaptation needed. A suicide joke.
On top of that, we get introduced to another character who loves to hear himself talk, the fish. You know how most games have a tutorial guide that forces you to listen to basic instructions you could have easily figured out by playing the game on your own? Use the joystick to move and avoid touching enemies to live? Yeah, crap like that. Well, the fish is the tutorial guide for this game, and he sucks. As a guide, all he ever wants to do is mock you, the cat, and therefore the player, by constantly telling you how much you suck for letting the magic consume the house, and telling you how you need to clean things up, capping it off by letting us know how to play the game in the most condescending ways known to man.
Okay, I'll try to use small words. In front of you is a red and white tornado. Now even you should be able to understand that. Conrad and Sally will not let you go anywhere else until you've cleaned up this part of the house. So simple even you can do it.
Now I can see why we all evolved away from being fish.
I notice I've only been talking about the characters so far and not about any gameplay, so... I mean, it's there? Don't get me wrong, this isn't an amazing title by any stretch of the imagination, but... it's not horrible either. It's your typical 2.5D platformer with the ability to interact with the background and foreground in order to gather collectibles and advance in the level. Nothing about it is bad, per se, but it's not very imaginative either. You know how games like Super Mario keep the standard platforming interesting by constantly integrating new power-ups, mechanics, and increased intricacy in the level design in order to keep the difficulty at a nice, steady rate? Well, Cat in the Hat's solution is just to give you more things you need to do by making you backtrack through the level to complete various objectives. For example, these are goo machines. They turn enemies into goo. Goo in this game is an explosive purple ball of slime that can destroy metal crates. The only way you can get goo, other than finding it randomly placed in a level, which happens very rarely, you have to go through the arduous process of capturing an enemy, taking them to the nearest goo machine, shooting them into the machine, and wait patiently for an enemy to be converted into goo, which I assume is a
slow, painful, and torturous process.
These machines exist as a means to pad out the game because they almost always waste your time. 9 times out of 10, you won't have an enemy with you when you find a goo machine, meaning you have to backtrack through the level until you find one, hope you don't have to shoot that enemy at something in your way, and make your way back to the machine.
Oh, and when you shoot it into the machine, make sure you are dead center in front of that thing. Because if this game has taught me anything, trying to shoot things that are in the background or the foreground sucks.
It's not just the machines that you have to turn and fire at either. There are crates and things 1 and 2 in the background also that, if you want 100% completion, you'll need to fire at too. The things hold keys to bonus levels, and you need to track down all 4 to enter the bonus room door at the end of the stage. Usually, the levels involve the cat running away from something, but I'm going to tell you right now that if you have any of these stages, if they have the bubble or the zipline gimmick, you are D-O-N-E screwed. These things move so slow while the stage hazards move very fast to catch you. It sucks too because most of them bonus stages aren't horrible. In fact, they're fairly easy once you breeze through a few of them, but then these ones are a crapshoot to try and complete.
But I hope you like these bonus stages because after the first main level, they, well, are the only sense of variety that you'll find in the rest of the game.
Got through level 1 as light and nimble as a bee? Congratulations, user, because you've just won an all-expense paid trip to Who Gives a Rip land. I say that because looking at how repetitive and monotonous the other levels are, you can clearly tell the developers just threw up their hands and just said, really, who gives a rip? I ain't skimping you on the juicy details either. Aside from maybe 1 or 2 new obstacles or gimmicks being introduced, you've pretty much seen all this game has to offer at the end of the first stage.
The boss levels are pretty much more of the same, too.
Yep, this game has boss fights, and they're all against Alec Baldwin. Quinn. He rides around in a hovercraft even H.R. Geiger and Bowser would look at and say, bit much, don't you think? And floats around to the center of a circular stage firing easy-to-read attacks with very noticeable patterns until you fire enough bubbles up his mud hole, at which point he shows you the crab block, you hit it, collect it, win, and that's that. It's not the most memorable boss fight in the world, sure, but it's not offensive either. Nah. The offensiveness truly begins when you get to the second boss fight of the game and realize it's the exact same fight.
Super Mario Sunshine looks at this game and laughs in its stupid face. I mean, lack of variety wasn't an issue until now, guys. I mean, sure, a lot of the levels feel the same, but they at least look different. They at least feel unique from one another. Why did they struggle with the boss department? I mean, look at Sonic the Hedgehog. I mean, sure, you face Dr. Robotnik at the end of every level, but at least he's using a different device. In Crash Bandicoot, the Wrath of Cortex, sure, you're facing Crunch, but he's also harnessing a different elemental to give him different powers, making the bosses feel different. Anytime you fight Quinn, it's the same boss fight with little to no variation every single time.
You're not going anywhere until you've cleaned up the mess.
Hey, Rugrats, I don't see what the big deal is blocking me off from different places in the house. At least with most levels, I didn't have enough magic or whatever to enter them, so I can understand why I can't play them yet. But as long as I'm cleaning the house, kicking the piss out of Quinn, and beating the stages, why can't I choose freely between all the different parts of the house? Do you want this mess cleaned up the right way? My mom always told me if you want a mess cleaned the right way, start from top to bottom.
Cat, Quinn isn't in that world. You're gonna have to chase him out from where he's hiding first.
Oh, cool. Good. Thanks, game. Even when I have the freedom to choose what level I play next, you still won't let me. Again, isn't my main priority cleaning the house of all the cat's enchantment and locking the box? At the end of every level, Quinn runs away as I stand there and watch, and the only time I can beat him from the crab block is in the boss levels. It seems like any other time I find him in a stage, he's just hanging out, not doing anything, or hurting anybody, so why on God's green earth are you trying to restrict me?
Whew, okay, I think I'm getting my blood pressure a little worked up over something as insignificant as this. So how about we just see how difficult the final boss really is?
Collect some extra magic first.
Oh no. Oh no.
I don't have enough magic to enter. This normally wouldn't be a problem, it just means that there's another level I'm supposed to do first, but since I'm at the end of the game and there are no other levels, it means I'm up a creek without a paddle. I can't just go back and replay any past stages because once you beat a level and collect all the stuff inside, it doesn't come back, meaning that when you re-enter, it's completely empty because you've already gone through and got everything in it. Now, usually this type of feature is a good thing, but since I'm shy a few of being able to progress, that means I have to go back from start to finish to find anything I could possibly have missed.
I mean, do I dare waste my time trying to beat a game that's mediocre at best and tedious at worst? Or do I actually try to get what little bit of life I have left?
Well, it's been 10 years and 1,000 tears, and look at the mess I'm in. A broken nose and a broken heart, and an empty bottle of gin. Well, I sit and I pray in my broken down Chevrolet while I'm singing to myself. There's gotta be another way. Take it away, take it away. Take away this ball and chain. While I sit and I'm tired and I can't take any more pain. Take it away, take it away. Never to return again. Take it away, take it away. Take away. Take away this ball and chain.
That was The Cat in the Hat. I've been Regular Trent, and until next time, take care and spike your hair. I'll see. Oh, wait! Wait a second, it's October. You know what that means? Probably not, because we just made it up. It's Wilson Club of Horrors. So the next time you see me, expect a spooky-filled theme episode for Halloween. And until next time, viewer beware, you're in for a scare.